Hi, I'm Sid Dobrin. In this video, I'll be talking about the Road to a Strong Thesis feature that walks us through what might have been Eric Trotta's process for developing a strong thesis for his essay, Handling the Snakehead Invasion. Eric begins with an open-ended yet commonly assigned prompt to write a proposal. Given his interest in fish and fisheries policies, Eric decides to identify a fisheries problem and propose a solution for that problem. At this stage in his thinking about the assignment, Eric has found a topic that interests him, but he recognizes that having an idea or a subject is not the same thing as having a strong thesis to support. Eric begins to ask questions about his topic, acknowledging that there are lots of problems to address within fisheries management and fisheries policy. But which problems interest him the most? Eric responds to his question, recognizing that he's interested in the concept of invasive species. But even identifying that tighter focus, the topic of the problem of invasive species is still too broad, and that he needs to tighten his focus even more. Eric begins to focus on his interest in the snakehead problem, still recognizing that the snakehead invasive species problem is still too big for any single solution he can propose. When I teach this version of the Road to a Strong Thesis, this is one of the points I talk in depth about with students. It's tough for writers to identify that they need to continue to tighten their focus, and Eric does a good job of slowing himself in order to think in detail about how focused the identified problem needs to be in order to propose a feasible solution. He realizes that he cannot solve the overall problem with a single proposal, but that he might be able to offer a solution to part of the problem if he focuses his scope. In doing so, Eric identifies his exigency. He needs to offer a solution for the snakehead problem for a specific location that is in advanced stages of the problem. But even in finding this focus, Eric is not sure the public, he, or even professionals know enough about the problem in order to offer a feasible solution. Or, he continues to articulate, maybe what has been assumed to be the problem isn't in fact a problem, that what is needed is more information in order to more accurately define the problem. This leads Eric to a strong thesis. I propose that there needs to be more research conducted about the effects of the introduction of the northern snakehead into the Potomac River ecosystem. This thesis then also provides Eric with a starting point for his research about the snakehead situation in the Potomac. By articulating his thesis before drafting his essay, Eric can now see the position he wishes to stake in the situation and the claim he wishes to make in support. Once students understand how Eric used this self-questioning technique to develop his thesis, I like to show students how the kinds of questions that Eric asks might also be the kinds of questions they could ask when developing their theses. I try to talk with them about the fact that theses don't just appear in writing by chance, but that developing a strong thesis is part of what writers do early in their writing process, and that by having a thesis to work with from the outset, they will find that they can more readily write toward their purpose and thesis. I also point out that despite the seemingly terminal point in the Road to a Strong Thesis feature, they may in fact not move as ideally from beginning to end as the visual implies. With many students, I find it useful to ask them to actually write out their own map from the ideas they have until they get to a thesis. Keep in mind that the Road to a Strong Thesis feature can be taught independently, but it seems to work best when teaching the Map Your Situation feature at the same time. Thanks for using Writing Situations, and thanks for watching.